Now, to give you a general overview of what we're going to be talking about, let's discuss some of the topics that we'll cover during the course. We're going to give you an introduction or course overview, which is what this is, and then we're going to get down into the nitty-gritty of administering Unix. The first thing we want to talk about, of course, is getting around in Unix. So we'll be showing you some things about how to log in, switch terminals, and so there's some generic things about the command line you should probably be aware of. Next, we'll get into some actual tasks that we need to learn in terms of learning to administer a Unix or Linux system. So we'll talk about managing the system boot and services, so you'll learn how a Unix system starts up and how to manage that startup with the system boot and some of the services that run under Unix and Linux. Then we'll talk about managing users and groups, simply because you're going to have users and groups on your computer, on your systems, so you're going to have to learn how to configure them, set them up, and so forth. Then we'll look at administering the file system itself. We'll learn how the file system is created. We'll learn some of the files that we use to basically manipulate the file system and keep it running correctly. Then we'll get more into the administration side. We'll look at backing up the system using a wide variety of commands, including tar, gzip, bzip, and so forth. And we'll learn about managing software. We'll learn how to install packages on the system and how to manage those software packages. We'll also learn to configure hardware. We'll look at how to look at various hardware devices to see what resources they're using, to see if drivers are installed, and so forth. Then we'll finally turn our attention to the GUI. Up until then, everything we're probably going to do will be at the command line. So we'll look briefly at configuring the GUI, how to get X Windows started, how to configure that, and how to use it. We'll also look at performance monitoring and logging, because we want to make sure that our Unix systems are running at peak efficiency and that they're logging things that they're supposed to be logging, errors, security events, and so forth. Then we'll look at network client services, because on a network you use services and you provide services. So we'll look at network client services first so we can see how to use some of the various services that are provided to us on the network. And then we'll turn around and look at the opposite. We'll look at network server services, and these are the services that we provide to another user from our Unix system. No discussion of any operating system or networking would be complete without talking about security. So we're going to talk about security from two perspectives. First of all, we're going to look at configuring network security on a Unix box in terms of how to make sure that the Unix box is talking on the network securely to other boxes, and to make sure that other boxes can only access certain things on our box. Then we'll look at configuring system security. We'll look at system hardening itself and how to configure a Unix system to be fairly secure on a network. And then we'll look at our course conclusion. We'll do a recap of what we've talked about so far, and I'll give you some additional resources that you can use to help you learn more about Unix system administration essentials. So with all this in mind, let's go ahead and jump in the middle of the pond, and we'll talk about some Unix system administration essentials.